My fiancée left me for another guy. A year later she begged for me back. I'm Jake, 33. She's Skylar, 31. We actually married after that break, because she showed up in my new city sobbing in the rain, promising the other guy was a mistake. My mom, Linda, hated it. My dad, Ron, said, "Son, a break is a dress rehearsal for goodbye," but I married her anyway. We moved into a cute townhouse near the Greenbelt, adopted a golden named Moose, and for 6 quiet months I let myself believe in second chances. Then the small, stupid signs started. Her phone face down. New perfume, smoky citrus, clinging to hoodies she only wore on late client nights. A playlist full of slow jams she'd roasted me for liking back when we were engaged. She switched her lock screen from a photo of Moose to a quote about privacy as self-care. Cute. I kept telling myself I was paranoid because of the old wound. But it wasn't just vibes. Venmo notes like, wine glass plus old keen from a Melanie, who didn't exist in our life. Gym check-ins at 11:47 p.m. when the gym closes at 10. A second metal water bottle in her trunk, dented like it had lived there a while. Little things, all explainable, all stacking like kindling. Skylar got brazen with the jokes. In bed, "You're too predictable, babe. Spice it up." A laugh that landed like a dare. I'd reach for her, she'd arch away and say, "I'm tired. Long day." A week later she'd come home buzzing, cheeks flushed, talking about nailing the presentation. I wanted to be proud. But pride kept tripping over the smell of hotel shampoo. Her family didn't help. Tammy, her mom, texted, "Give my girl space, work is intense," while accidentally Venmo requesting Skylar for girls trip, Miami. Her brother Jay sent me a bro-nod DM, "Don't be clingy, king." Meanwhile, my mom watched Skylar drift in late, drop a kiss in the air and murmur, "Love you." After dinner, Mom squeezed my shoulder and said, "If the truth hurts, it's still the truth." The night the tension snapped was at our friend's condo. Game night, baby asleep upstairs, baby monitor on the counter. Skylar and our friend's husband went to check the nursery. Minutes later the monitor crackled, fabric, whispers, a man's low laugh, her breathy 5 minutes coach. Everyone froze. Someone killed the monitor. We all pretended it was static. My stomach knew better. On the drive home, Skylar hummed along to her new playlist and asked why I was quiet. I said I was tired. What I meant was, I finally remembered how the first break really felt. A door closing while someone told me it was just a window. The next week I stopped arguing with my gut and started watching. Quiet, boring watching. I noted the late-night client dinners, the 12:06 a.m. showers that steamed the windows, the way she'd emerge in my college tee with that citrus smoke scent braided into her hair. Not graphic, just intimate in the way a secret can be. Her mouth softer, her laugh lazy, skin flushed like she'd been sprinting through someone else's story. Friday we were back at Dylan and Harper's for another game night. Around 10, Skylar and Dylan volunteered to check on the baby. Harper didn't move. The monitor didn't either. It crackled alive like a guilty conscience. Fabric rustle. A whisper I knew too well, hers. Then a man's voice, low, joking, 5 minutes M. Her reply, that breathy giggle she used to save for me, "Room 214 tomorrow." Back entrance. "Don't be late, coach." No moans. No cinematic soundtrack. Just the mundane choreography of people who've done this before. Keys, zippers, a muffled kiss that sounded like a promise I hadn't been invited to. My chest went hollow. Harper's hand shot out and switched the monitor off. "Static," she said to no one. The room stared at the guacamole like it could absorb us. In the car, Skylar hummed to R&B she used to roast and asked why I was quiet. "Headache," I said. At home she showered again. When she slept, I checked the places I'd promised myself I'd never check. Her tote, the coat closet, glove box. False bottom in her tote. A thin black phone. No passcode. The messages were a museum of ordinary sin. L texting, "You were trouble in that hoodie." Her replying, "Be good." Back door same time. There were selfies in elevator mirrors. Nothing explicit, just the angle that says I want to be seen by one pair of eyes only. A picture of a hotel lamp I recognized from booster fundraisers. A voice note from him, gravelly, amused. "You're late, brat. I'm not starting without my star." I scrolled farther. Calendar emojis for meetups. Health app spikes around midnight. Venmo notes to Melanie, with keys and wine glasses. My name showed up once. Home by 11. You bought it? She'd layered lies like wallpaper. One pattern over another until the wall forgot it was a wall. I placed both phones on the kitchen island, side by side like exhibits A and B, and watched the oven clock blink 2:17 a.m. I thought about the first break, the one that sent me to this new city, and how she'd come back in the rain promising she was done with mistakes. I thought about Moose asleep at my feet, trusting the world was simple because I kept saying it was. At 6:11 a.m., Skylar padded in, hair up, my tea hanging off one shoulder like a peace treaty. Her eyes went from the phones to me. The performance started before her mouth even moved. She clocked the phones and went straight to anger. Not shame. Anger. Are you serious, Jake? You spied on me? She crossed her arms, chin high, like a principal catching me with gum. I pressed play on a voice note. His gravel, backdoor brat, hoodie. Her whisper laugh, 5 minutes, coach. The sound filled the kitchen like a bad smell. Skylar blinked, recalculated, pivoted. Okay, that sounds bad, she said, palms up, smile trembling. But it's not what you think. Coach is a joke. Dylan's been helping me prep a pitch. We were just role-playing confidence. Silence is heavy. I let it sit. She rushed on. Also, that phone? Work phone. Client privacy. You violated my job, Jake. Brazen voice. Lawyer Y words she'd picked up from podcasts. I turned the screen so she could see their thread. Elevator selfies. Late-night pins. Venmo keys. Work? I asked. Room 214's a client now? Her eyes watered on cue. Knees hit tile. She grabbed my wrist, tears hot and messy. I screwed up once, twice, she blurted. It didn't mean anything. I was drunk after Harper's shower. Dylan kissed me. I panicked. I'm so ashamed. She pressed her forehead to my hand like prayer. Please, Jake. I'll block him. I'll quit. I'll change my number. I'll tell our parents. Just, don't leave me. I almost broke. Because this is the loop, fury, performance, pleading. I could feel the old brake, humming under my ribs like a warning. Who is he? I asked. She swallowed. It's complicated. Say his name. Logan, she whispered. Assistant coach. It didn't mean. My chair scraped. Moose lifted his head. Something steady woke up in me. You lied when we were engaged. You lied to get back in. You're lying now. Mask drop again. She stood so fast the chair skidded. You know what? Maybe if you weren't so predictable, I wouldn't need to find excitement elsewhere. Her mouth curled. You're boring, Jake. You always have been. I carried us. There it was, the poison I'd swallowed and called medicine. Okay, I said. Full passwords. Timeline in writing. STI test this week. Couples therapy you don't pick. And you tell both families exactly what you told me. She stared like I'd slapped her. Why are you obsessed with details? Can't we just move forward? Honesty is forward. She crumpled again, new tears, new vows. Fine. Anything. I'll do anything. Knees, hands, promises piling like junk mail. But even in the crying, her eyes were scanning for exits. My mom texted right then. How are you? I looked at Skylar on the floor, mascara on her palms, and typed back. I'm done making this look normal. Skylar reached for me. Hug? She asked, small voice. I didn't move. Start with the passwords, I said. Then we'll see if there's anything left to hug. People think the worst part is the moment you find out. It's not. It's the morning after, when your house looks the same but every object has a new label. Used during a lie. Coffee tastes like a dare. Even Moose's collar jingle sounds like, are you sure? Skylar did a full apology tour that week. Flowers. Handwritten letter. Big eyes. She texted me calendar invites titled, Honesty Hour. I wanted to believe, because believing hurts less than rebuilding. I said yes to therapy. First session, she sobbed into a box of tissues and told the counselor I'm emotionally unavailable and hypercritical. I sat there, hands folded, listening to my biography get mad-libbied. When I brought up the second phone, she called it a boundary tool. The therapist looked at me like I was supposed to nod. I didn't. At home, she flipped between saint and prosecutor. Mornings, clinging hugs, whispering, you're my safe place. Nights, you need to get over it if we're moving on. She started staging domestic scenes, fresh cookies, candles, a playlist she used to mock, like she could air freshen infidelity. Then I'd catch her in the hallway with that distant smile, thumbs flying. Work, she'd say. The citrus smoke perfume kept showing up like a punchline. My parents split down their usual lines. Mom brought lasagna and fierce eye contact. You don't have to live inside someone else's storm to prove you're steady, she said, patting my cheek like I was 5 and also a veteran. Dad took me to the hardware store, bought a box of screws we didn't need and said in aisle 12, Some wood you can sand. Some you replace. He left it there. Dad speak in lumber. Skylar's side turned into a small circus. Tammy called to say forgiveness is a woman's journey I needed to support. When I mentioned STI tests, she gasped like I'd sworn in church. Jace texted, "Bro, men have needs, she just got bored." I wrote back, "She's not men. She's my wife." He sent a shrug emoji and a link to a crypto coin. I tried forgiveness like a crash diet, white-knuckled and performative. We had good moments. A Sunday pancake truce. A walk with Moose where she slipped her hand in mine and for 10 minutes, made me forget room 214. I slept beside her again, counting breaths instead of lies. But panic started living in my ribs. Every ping of her phone made my shoulders climb. When I asked for timelines, gaps appeared. When I pressed, she said I was re-traumatizing us. Us like I'd cheated on me with me. Then came the skeletons. Harper admitted the baby monitor incident wasn't a first. She'd heard jokes months earlier and hoped it was roleplay. A collections notice arrived for a card I didn't recognize, traced back to Tammy co-signing for emergencies. Skylar swore it was old. The charge date was 2 weeks ago. "You're making me feel policed," she snapped, then cried an hour later and slid to her knees on the kitchen tile. "Please don't give up on me." I didn't shout. I didn't smash a plate. I walked Moose, sat on the curb and watched porch lights blink on one by one like neighbors voting. Something inside me finally cast its own vote. I can't carry both her story and mine. I stood up, texted Mom, "You were right about truth," and started writing my own list that didn't include "fix her." There's a click you can feel in your bones when survival outruns hope. Mine happened on a Tuesday at 9:14 p.m. Skylar texted, "Client dinner, don't wait up Red Heart," while my email pinged with a hotel receipt for 2 entrees and champagne, billed to her corporate card, timestamp 9/12. I didn't rage. I printed. I made a folder called Truth and fed it like a stray cat. Screenshots, bank logs, the baby monitor transcript Harper finally airdropped with shaking hands. "I'm sorry, Jake. I thought it was a joke till it wasn't." I pulled our phone records. Mystery number L matched the assistant coach email from Cole's old booster list. Health app spikes at midnight. Calendar emojis that lined up with hotel invoices. Receipts romance. Then I got practical. New P.O. box. Separate checking. Cloud backups of taxes, titles, the someday files. I met a lawyer, Ortiz, calm voice, sharper eyes, who slid a legal pad toward me and said, "We do paper, not pyrotechnics." She mapped a clean exit. Photograph assets, freeze joint cards at 8 a.m. on move day, keep comms written. "Don't tip your hand," she said. "Exit clean or don't exit." Skylar kept running her 3-act play. Act I, brazen, "You're policing me." Act 2, tears, knees on tile, mascara on palms, "I'll do anything." Act 3, resentment, "You're obsessed with details." I stopped auditioning. My boundary list became a script. Passwords, written timeline, STI panel, therapy I pick, disclosure to both families. She called it punishment. I called it plumbing. Clean water doesn't mix with sewage, Dad would have said in aisle 12. The skeleton parade picked up pace. A collections letter for a card I'd never seen. Ortiz traced it to Tammy, who'd co-signed for emergencies. Read, "Girls trip, Miami." Harper confessed Dylan had heard coach jokes months ago and froze. Jace DM'd, "Don't go nuclear, King." I replied with a PDF of charges from room 214. He sent a sunglasses emoji. Their family felt like a funhouse. Every mirror warped me, none reflected her. I planned a silent move the way you plan a surgery. Boxes labeled boring things, winter coats, taxes. So Skylar wouldn't snoop. A cheap storage unit. A small place near the trailhead with a lease signed to my P.O. box. I set my ring in the walnut dish I made in high school and watched it look less like failure and more like a key I was allowed to return. Petty but healing. Skylar kept asking for cute Moose pics. I sent them, Moose mid-poop with inspirational captions. Progress, not perfection. It made me laugh, which felt illegal and medicinal. Mom launched Operation Go Out. Diner pie, a napkin battle plan, spare keys on her ring. Dad fixed the wobbly kitchen chair, then patted my shoulder like he was checking a stud. "Some wood you don't sand," he said. "You replace." The last straw wasn't fireworks. It was a calendar alert that didn't bother to lie. Coach, lunch. Noon a weekday. She came home that night smelling like citrus and victory, kissed the air and said, "Long day." I checked Moose's water, stroked his forehead, and heard my own voice in my head, clean and steady. "We're done pretending this is weather. It's climate." Tomorrow I start packing. I picked a Thursday because Thursdays look harmless. Ortiz lined up movers who show at 7 a.m., black shirts, no chatter. I'd staged the boxes already: winter coats, taxes, old textbooks, camouflage for a life evacuating. Before the doorbell, I photographed everything: tools, TV serials, the heirloom clock Tammy swore I didn't appreciate. On the kitchen table I set a folder labeled Truth: phone logs, hotel receipts, a transcript of the baby monitor whispers, screenshots of Al, and a one-liner in my handwriting: I'm choosing gravity. Skylar came out of the shower in my tea, hair towel twisted, and saw the half-empty living room. What are you doing? Voice hard first, then higher. Jake, stop this. You're being dramatic. I pointed to the folder. Facts aren't drama. She flipped to pleading so fast it gave me whiplash, knees to tile, mascara streaking, clutching my belt. Please, please. I'll block him, I'll quit, I'll change numbers, I'll delete everything. Don't humiliate me. Her palms were open like a penitent. When I didn't fold, the blade came out. You'll never do better than me. You're boring. You need me. I don't need a liar, I said gently. Stand up. She stood, trembling. We can fix this, she whispered, then louder. We are fixing this. Therapy, remember? Therapy needs truth, I said. You brought props. Her family dialed in like a chorus. Tammy on speaker. Marriage is forgiveness. How dare you abandon your vows? I said the word tests and she gasped like I'd thrown holy water. Rick, her dad, texted me a thumbs up emoji like we were moving a couch. Jace DM'd, don't go nuclear, King. I sent him a single PDF. He replied with sunglasses emoji. That family communicates like bumper stickers. Harper pinged, I'm so sorry. For what it's worth, Dylan heard them too. We froze. I won't again. Then a twist, an unknown number. I'm Lena. Logan's fiancée. 8 weeks pregnant. Thank you for the proof. I sat down on a box and let the tragedy widen. Not just my house burning. By noon, Moose and I had a new address. I left my ring in the walnut dish I'd made in shop class and slid the truth folder to the center of the table. Skylar blocked the door for one last performance. Tears, promises, I'll tell everyone it was my fault. Then when that didn't land, a hissed, you'll regret this. I met her eyes. I already did. I'm done. Outside the sky looked normal. That felt rude and also perfect. I loaded Moose, handed the movers their envelope, and closed the townhouse door. The click sounded like a period at the end of a sentence I'd been afraid to finish. First night in the new place, silence wasn't empty, it was honest. No phone face down buzzing like a trapped insect. No citrus smoke in the hall. Moose thumped down by my mattress on the floor like finally our heir. I ate cold cereal out of a mixing bowl and read the truth folder like it belonged to somebody braver than me. Fallout started before sunrise. HR emailed Skylar, administrative leave pending review. She rage texted me paragraphs, you're destroying my career. Then pivoted to please Jake meet me, I'll do anything, I'm sick, I'm sorry. She's a weather system. Hail, then sunshine, then a tornado watch. I forwarded it all to Ortiz and muted the thread. Paper, not pyrotechnics. Logan resigned for health reasons. Translation: the booster chat detonated. Harper sent screenshots of mom's flaming out. Dylan DM'd a guilty, I heard it and froze. I'm sorry, man. Lena wrote again. A grainy sonogram, 8 weeks and moving in with my sister. Thank you for the truth. I sat on a box and let the complicated ache have a chair. My house burned, but theirs did too. My parents showed up like they always do, without speeches. Mom stocked my fridge and taped a sticky note to the butter. Proud of you. Dad fixed a cabinet hinge that wasn't broken, then sat on the floor tossing a tennis ball for Moose. Good echo in here, he said. Dads don't say, I love you. They test for studs. Skylar's side turned carnival. Tammy called me a quitter and said God hates divorce. Then she accidentally CC'd me on an email asking her friend about reputation management. Jace texted, don't go nuclear, King. I replied with a photo of the truth folder. He sent a rocket emoji. Their family speaks fluent avoidance. I built small routines like scaffolding. Morning runs where the trail stitched frost into my shoelaces. A Tuesday night woodshop class. Hands learning to cut dovetails instead of counting lies. I started a list called New Not Someday. Learn to cook one thing well, garlic chicken. Repair a bike, say yes when Dylan and Harper invite me without Skylar in the room. I slept 9 hours once and woke up startled by how light my chest felt. I didn't chase revenge fireworks. The quiet kind worked fine. Locks, accounts, a tidy log of everything. Petty but healing continued. When Skylar demanded pics of Moose so I can remember us, I sent Moose mid-poop under motivational quotes. Boundaries are love. It made me laugh out loud in my echoey kitchen. That felt like contraband and medicine at once. Unexpected plot twist. A flyer on the trailhead board for a community hike. A woman with a navy beanie was stapling it up crooked and laughing at herself. "Nora," she said when I held the corner. We walked the first half-mile talking about boots, then drifted. No numbers. Just an ordinary mile where my head didn't rehearse court speeches. That night, Skylar showed up at my building gate, mascara comet-tailed, fury bright under the streetlight. "You win," she spat, then slid down the bars into a kneel. "Please don't let them fire me. I'll never talk to him again." For once I believed she believed it, in that hour. But I'm done renting my life by the hour. I handed her a printed copy of Ortiz's separation terms through the bars. "I'm not here to win, Sky. I'm here to stop losing." She clutched the pages like a life raft and whispered, "Tell me what to do." I pointed to the clause labeled truth. "Start there." Then I buzzed myself in, Moose trotting ahead, and let the gate close with that clean, forgiving click. Revenge used to look like fireworks in my head, callouts, viral posts, a mic drop in a crowded room. Ortiz cured me of that in one meeting. "Paper beats panic," she said, sliding over a checklist. So I did paper. We drafted a separation agreement that read like a seatbelt. Freeze joint cards, split accounts, device transparency during discovery, STI panel, therapy with a neutral, not Skylar's Instagram therapist, and full written timeline signed and dated. Tank. Okay, Moose even got a clause. "You're not punishing her," Ortiz said. "You're protecting you." I stopped arguing and started sending links. For the relatives who wanted context, I shared a private folder, receipts, timestamps, the monitor transcript. No commentary. Tammy replied with prayer hands and "We will not participate in slander," then CC'd the wrong thread asking a friend about image repair. Jace wrote "coward" and a snake emoji. I replied with a PDF labeled room_214.pdf. He sent sunglasses. Their family communicates in stickers because words have consequences. Skeletons jogged out of closets like they'd been warming up. A collections notice surfaced for a card I'd never seen. Ortiz traced it to a line Tammy co-signed 6 months ago for emergencies. Charges read like itinerary: flights, boutique hotel, girls trip, Miami. Skylar swore it was old. The statement date was last week. Dylan finally admitted he'd heard coach banter months earlier and froze. Harper cried, then invited me for pasta and an apology. I went. We ate, no drama, just normal forks and honest eye contact. Work gossip did what gossip does. Logan's health leave became a resignation. Lena moved in with her sister and texted me a photo of a half-packed sedan and a sonogram. I stared at the blur and felt tragedy expand past my zip code. It's not just one house burning. At home I made routine my religion. Morning trail runs, breath burning clean. Tuesday woodshop, dovetails finally tight enough to squeak. I built a walnut box and set my ring inside. It looked like a relic, not a failure. I cooked one decent dish, garlic chicken, and made it for my parents who acted like I'd invented heat. Dad fixed a crooked cabinet door that wasn't crooked. "Now it's perfect," he said. Translation: "So are you even if you're not." Skylar kept oscillating. One day she was at my door with daisies, letters shaky, knees on concrete. "Tell me how to make this right." The next, a bullet point email listing my failures, including never learned TikTok dances. I set her flowers in the lobby for anyone to take and replied with one line: "Truth first." Or not at all. Petty but healing? Still alive. When she asked for one last pic of Moose being cute, I sent Moose mid-squat under a motivational quote: "Boundaries are love." I laughed loud enough the neighbor banged the wall. Moose wagged like we'd accomplished something important. Nora drifted back in like weather. Trail group on Saturday, navy beanie, crooked staples on a fresh flyer. We shared the first mile, traded boot tips, then split. No numbers. Just proof my brain can spend 10 minutes in the present without building a courtroom. Skylar's final play was a public one. A Facebook novella about growth, forgiveness, and my husband's struggle with control. I didn't clap back. I toggled the private link to viewable by family only, and went for a run. When I got home, Mom had commented a single heart under my latest photo. Me, Moose, a stupidly blue sky. Underneath it, Dad wrote, "Nice joinery." That's the thing about boundaries, they don't make noise. They make room. The separation conference wasn't fireworks, just a beige room, a carafe of coffee, and Ortiz speaking in sentences that landed like nails. Skylar dabbed at perfect tears and called the agreement punitive. Ortiz slid the folder marked truth across the table. The HR letter. The hotel invoices. The monitor transcript. Skylar's lawyer whispered, and suddenly, punitive became we'll review. Paper beats panic. Afterward, I expected triumph. What I got was air. I drove with the windows down, Moose's ears flapping, and realized the constant hum in my chest had quieted. At home, I set my ring in the walnut box, shut the lid, and heard the soft squeak of a joint seated right. Dad texted, "Good joinery." Translation understood. I built a life that didn't check her shadow for weather reports. Mornings, trail miles until my breath made steam. Evenings, woodshop, finally brave enough to try a coffee table. I burned my first top, plain too thin on the second, and the third sat flat like an apology I owed myself. I cooked garlic chicken without a recipe and didn't set off the alarm. I said yes when Harper invited me to their kid's birthday and didn't scan the door for Skylar like a fugitive. Her side kept spinning. Tammy posted a Facebook Live about forgiveness warriors. Jace subtweeted me with a snake emoji and a crypto link. Rick asked if I could float a small balance on the emergency card. I replied with a screenshot of the clause that says I'm not their bank. Quiet revenge is just turning off the faucet they installed in your wall. Unexpected good thing. A community hike upstate. $20, a bus at dawn, a lake the brochure promised was clear enough to show you your own face. It was. Halfway up, navy beanie, Nora, ended up next to me talking about blister tape and how her dog steals socks. We split at the ridge. No numbers. Just the light feeling of not auditioning for anyone. Ava, my niece, my sister brought her by, fed Moose strawberries while Mom restocked my fridge like a general staging a campaign. Dad fixed a hinge that wasn't broken, then stood admiring the coffee table like it was a newborn. Sturdy, he said. I heard, so are you. Skylar tried one last grand gesture, flowers at my door, a handwritten letter with the greatest hits, I'm in therapy, he meant nothing, I'll do whatever, and finally a kneel on the hallway carpet that made the superintendent peek around the corner. Please, Jake. I can be new. I believed she believed it for the length of a hinge squeak. Then I handed back the letter and said, healing is real. But not here. That night I grilled on my balcony, nothing fancy, just corn and chicken, while Moose supervised like a foreman. I didn't check my phone. I didn't rehearse defenses. I ate at my own table and watched the sky go pink without wondering who else was under it with my wife. The tragic part had already happened. This part was craft. Final orders came through on a rainy Tuesday. No fireworks, just a judge with a pen and Ortiz with a nod. Paper beats panic again. I walked out into puddles feeling level. Not high, not hollow. Level. Moose did a zoomie in the lot like he'd been waiting for court to catch up to reality. Skylar tried a last curtain call, daisies on my doormat, a letter about therapy and fresh starts, then a kneel on the hall carpet, palms up. I'll do anything, Jake, she whispered. I can be new. I helped her up. I believe you can be new, I said. Just not here. The door clicked behind her with that clean, no-drama sound I've come to love. Revenge turned out not to be a bonfire but a boundary. The slideshow in my head of what I could have said got replaced by small, repeatable acts. Trail miles, tight joinery, garlic chicken I can make without a timer. I kept the walnut box on the shelf, ring inside, letter on top, not as a shrine but as a ledger. This cost something, I paid, I'm free. Family settled into their lanes. Mom still texts pictures of diner pie with captions like proud of you. Dad drops by, levels my coffee table, says sturdy, and leaves a pack of sandpaper like a benediction. Harper and Dylan host low-stakes pasta nights where we talk about anything but monitors. Tammy posts about forgiveness warriors, Jace pumps snake emoji crypto, and that noise no longer rents space in my skull. Nora remains a maybe. We trade trail miles and dumb jokes about blister tape. No rush, no audition. Feels like walking into a room with the lights already on. What I learned, in case anyone needs a map. Your gut isn't drama, it's data. If it hurts, it's still the truth. Collect it. Don't argue with lies. Build receipts. Paper panic. Boundaries aren't punishment, they're plumbing. They keep your life from flooding. You're not boring because you're steady. That's what safe feels like. Healing is craft, not spectacle. 1 mile, 1 meal, 1 clean cut at a time. If you're reading this at 2 a.m. with your stomach in a fist, here's my whole playbook. Make a folder, make a plan, make a door. Then walk through it. The tragic part happened, you survived it. The rest is you, hands steady, breath counting, building something true.